Hello and welcome to the Design and Technology Department. My name is Lois Davis and I am the instructor here at Stony Creek. And I'm just going to run you through this slideshow real quick to give you some idea of some of the things that we do in our various classes. So we have several class offerings in our department. We have engineering, 1, 2, 3, and 4, mechanical design, architecture, robotics, and animation. All of the classes are 1 semester long. So if you were taking the engineering classes, you could take 1 and 2 in 1 year. All of the classes fulfill the VPAA, the Visual Performing and Applied Arts credit. If the student is taking the class as a senior, it counts as their senior level math requirement. Here's a couple of snapshots of the room. You can see the room is equipped with computers, so students do not need to use their own device in this classroom. However, they can use their own device. Some of the software we use is online. Some of the software is on the computers in the classroom. It just depends on what project we're doing as to whether it's convenient for the student to use their own device or not. I encourage them all to use the computers in the lab. We have a variety of software that we use in the classroom. Our drawing software is Autodesk software. We use AutoCAD, which is a 2D software, Inventor, a 3D software, and Fusion is also a 3D software. For the architecture class, we use AutoCAD and Revit. In the mechanical or the engineering classes, we use AutoCAD, Inventor, and Fusion. 3ds Max we use in the animation class. We also have several pieces of equipment in the room, a couple of 3D printers, a laser cutter, a small CNC, and they all have their own software that the students will use to run those, as well as we use Office and or Google in the classroom. Here's a few of the things that we might do in engineering 1 through 4. So we'll start out learning 2D drawings. We'll move our 2D drawings on the computer. We'll move into the 3D software. We'll have an opportunity to use the laser, the 3D printer throughout those 4 classes. Students will design some of their own projects. So I will give them some requirements and they have to fulfill those requirements and build something. Some of those builds are strictly on the computer. Some of those are physical builds. Again, we cover drawing, so we'll start with basic geometry drawings and move into multi-view, dimensioning, sections, auxiliaries. We'll learn about fasteners. That image down in the bottom right-hand corner are some of the developments that students have created in our steps to creating building the cardboard chair. Again, we have a laser cutter in the room. Here's some examples of things that can be cut on that laser cutter. Here's the software and what it looks like, another project. Here's again some additional drawings. So students do have an opportunity to compete in MITES. It's the Michigan Industrial Technical Education Society. We start projects in the fall typically and work through them. Some students will start in the semester 2. We'll work on those and the competition is in the spring. In the picture on the right are some of the cardboard chairs that students have built and designed and built. We start with the design process. We learn about developments. We learn about materials. We learn about different folds. We learn about cardboard in specific. Those chairs all can hold a student and there's no fasteners. There's no tape, no glue, nothing other than the cardboard that's being held together with tabs and things. Here's some additional drawings. So typically we will start with a drawing that you see on the left-hand side of the screen. So I will give them some sort of a pictorial drawing and they will model that. You can see the model here on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And from that model, then we'll create the detail sheet. And again, this is something that we've 3D printed this and entered it into mites, and we've also entered the detail sheet into the mites competition. Several of these projects you can see in the display case outside of the room. The classroom is on the E wing, which is where the auditorium is, and I'm E129, so I'm right before or right after, depending on which direction you're coming down the hall, the cafeteria doors. Here's another student project. A student found this clock online. We created the drawings in Inventor. We assembled it in Inventor, and then we used the laser cutter to cut out all the pieces out of wood. This was another one we entered into mites in the woods category. So we were able to enter the drawings. You can see there's several different detail drawings on there also. And we were able to assemble the clock and enter that into a woods category. Here's a project that a student wanted to work on. So when they get into those advanced classes in Mechanical Design 1 and 2, it used to be called Engineering 5 and 6. They can work on a variety of projects. I have projects for them to do that they can choose from. They can choose to design their own projects or develop their own projects. Again, typically we're working on the design process and how to create something, starting from that design process and working our way through to actually having a working model of the project. So we do sketching, 3D modeling, they can 3D print, they can laser cut. It just depends on what their project is. Some electronics in this one. So a variety of things that they get an opportunity to work on and with. Here's one of the 3D printers we have in the room and some of the examples of things that we can print from there. The image up on the top right is the printer actually in action. So it's working on creating a project. Here's again some of the some additional things that could be printed from the 3D printer. Basically, they create the drawing as a model in a 3D program. They convert it to an STL. They process the part on the 3D printer software. They set up the printer, they run the print. So it's all student driven, all student run, and this is excellent exposure and experience for them to have for when they go out into either an engineering program or something similar. We also offer architecture classes 1 through 4. We learn how to use AutoCAD to start off with, so we create some 2D floor plans, roof plans, elevation plans, plot plans, electrical plans, all kinds of different plans, house related. Some sketching, we learn how to read scales and how to measure drawings. And then we move into more difficult drawings as we move up in the levels of architecture. We'll work on some structural drawings, some wall sections and details. Students will build some models. So a variety of architectural projects that we'll do in those classes. Here's an example of some of the projects that students have done. So the one in the upper right-hand corner is a balsa wood model that we'll typically do in either architecture 1 or 2. And then we'll move into doing some conceptual house models in the architecture 3 and 4 classes. We've also started a robotics 1 and 2 class. It, again, covers a variety of topics. We start with some history of robotics. We're doing some programming, some virtual programming. So we do run the program and we can see the robot virtually use that program and see if it accomplishes the tasks that we want. So they're doing some troubleshooting, some programming, some design and build the robots to accomplish different tasks. We'll do some 3D modeling in there, careers, electrical programming. So just a lot of different things with the robots themselves. Here's an example of that online virtual robot. So the virtual robot's there in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's the program, the black program, and then us being able to see that robot while that program's running and what it's doing. Here's another type of robot that we have in class. In animation class, we have a lot of different topics in that one also. Some of the topics may include the history of animation, different persistence of vision projects, such as the phenakistoscope that you see over there on the right-hand side, flip books, cartoons, careers, some stop action. So just a variety of things that we'll cover in that class also, and just kind of touch on a lot of things. We don't, not an expert in any one thing, but an exposure to a lot of different things. We'll use the 3D Max software is available for us to use in that class also, as well as several other different softwares we've used for gaming and different things like that. So I want to thank you for stopping by. Sorry that I wasn't able to see you in person, but if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact me. I'm ldavis1@rochester.k12.mi.us. Have your student come see me. I'm in E129, so I'm down on the auditorium wing. I'm just outside of the cafeteria, across from the art rooms. And have a wonderful day.